Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video with FTR Club. Now, if you are in a segment of say 4.5 lakh rupees and you are looking for a sports tourer, this makes a lot of sense. This is the latest and the greatest KTM RC 390. Now, KTM has updated this bike thoroughly. Now, previously this motorcycle was primarily for say track usage. It had a very aggressive front. You had to crouch down towards the front. The seat was almost non-existent both for the rider and the passenger. But then with the recent updates that KTM has done, this has come a far way along. Now this is as comfortable as it can get when you want to munch miles on the highways, you want to do track duties, you want to use it in cities. This is a perfect super sports motorcycle as of today. Hold on. What is a ninja doing here?
What's happening, bro?
What are you doing here, man?
I was just passing by, but and then I noticed you're recording something. And what's it about?
This is all about this best sports tourer that people can buy in India today.
To think about this, the legendary Ninja.
No, well, how can we ignore the Ninja? Let's make things slightly different. Let's spice it up. We'll compare both these motorcycles. This is the updated KTM RC 390. This is the outdated Ninja 300. Let's see how does it hold its ground well. Okay, let's talk the design first. So, KTM being KTM orange, that is definitely going to be there. Proper European design. The front is nice, flat and big, and it has got sharp curves here and there. The bottom part is not very attractive though, I think. But then overall the design is very beautiful. I especially love the way they have mounted indicators on the front part of the motorcycle.
But this is Ninja. It's like proper Japanese, beauty, we can say, and it has very elegant look of it, very sharp, and
indeed it's very chiseled. It's like proper the way Japanese bikes are.
Yep.
Especially the whole Ninja DNA. The front is very sharp and raked down.
Yeah.
The rear goes up. It's a proper Japanese design. The good thing is that I don't think you'll find panel gaps on that motorcycle, but on the RC 390, yes, it's also built in India just like the Kawasaki, but then the panel gaps are quite inconsistent. At places it's a little bit more, at places it's a little less. So fit and finish, yes, KTM has definitely come quite far along what they used to be like so many years back.
Yeah, definitely, because as you said, there's no panel gaps and everything looks complete. There is no, you won't be able to see anything from inside part, but look at this, especially from the half of it, you can see everything like an X-ray, you can say.
That's true.
You'll see all the wirings and everything, but Ninja you won't be able to see anything, and it looks very complete and also looks photogenic if you ask me.
That is true, but that is true. One place where the KTM definitely wins hands down is the features. Now it has got all LED lighting, it has got master traction control, cornering ABS, quick shifter, it has got better tires, it has got upside down suspension. Fine, it is not adjustable for Indian market, but then the color TFT dash and the entire package, it looks proper and feels proper 2023 motorcycle.
Yeah, I agree. It's very futuristic in terms of all the features, lights and the console and everything, but as a rider I don't think it matters much. Talk about the console, it has everything what you need as a rider, and you don't need a traction control for this displacement or this capacity bike. And if you talk about the lights, yes, it's little outdated compared to this bike. We should have got LED lights. And
that is basic. I mean, in this day and age, at least LED lights and LED blinkers is something that Kawasaki could have given, considering that it has already hiked the prices and it's actually more expensive than the RC.
It's little old school, but definitely more enjoyable than that. And also if you compare to fuel capacity, for highway, definitely this is more capable.
That is true.
It has 17 liters and that's 14
liters, little less than 14 liters. And that's definitely required. I mean, because on highways what you need is a good comfortable riding posture. The handlebar is raised on. You can definitely go a lot more distance on that thing compared to this. And the seat, I think I would say this KTM is slightly more comfortable. That is little bit hard, don't you think?
That's true. It's very like thin profile, we can say, and that has got more cushion now. Yeah, that's definitely better.
And surprisingly, the previous generation of RC, the seat was kind of non-existent. Be for the right or the pillion.
Exactly.
There was absolutely no seat at all.
that has improved. The pillion,
this has come a long way.
Yeah.
What it used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, now about the engine and performance. This thing is genuinely a pocket rocket. It has so much bottom end and mid range. It can pull you out of any condition with a blink of an eye. You just open the throttle, and first of all, this is not wired, this is a ride-by-wire, so it's an electronic throttle. The throttle calibration is definitely very crisp, very precise on that. The gear shifting is very nice, very precise. And you can get into serious speeds in absolutely no time at all. You want to overtake trucks, don't have to do anything, just open the throttle. It will go like a rocket, right?
That's true. But in this case, it's all about high revving concept where the peak power comes at 11 or 12k rpm, but you don't have to downshift very often in city traffic. That's something RC.
This engine, it does not like to be at higher gears in lower RPMs. Even like if you're in second gear and you are at 20 kilometers per hour, the engine will immediately start knocking. You have to downshift to first gear, otherwise it will not sustain. But then on the right gear, it pulls very fast, right?
Correct. It's like you have to be very in rush mode always.
Yes.
But in this case, you can be at lower speed with higher gear, probably like third gear or fourth gear if you compare to this. You have to be in low gear itself. And this engine comes live probably like 4 or 5k after, and then it pulls out very, very easily. So that's something very likable for me at least.
On one hand, where it's all about the mid-range, it does not have too much of a peak power. I think the maximum speed you can carry on RC would be like 165, maybe 170 if the road permits, which is of course not legal. On that thing you can definitely cross like 175. You can go close to 180 kilometers per hour as well, right?
And also like engine vibration is very smooth.
That's very smooth.
And again, we'll have to mention about parallel twin, that's single cylinder. So that's where it has,
so this is more about the thumpy feeling of a single cylinder engine. It has that particular character that you associate with a single cylinder. Parallel twin, definitely it's going to be way smoother than this, there is no doubt. But performance wise, it's about personal preference. You like something which revs high, then there's the Ninja. You want mid-range, it's primarily for city duties and all, then there's nothing better than this one.
I agree with that.
Okay, now let's talk about the pricing. Right, so this thing, on-road Bangalore, it's 4.44 lakhs. The Ninja is about 4.44, around the same price range, I believe, right? And when you look at the pricing and you look at the offering that you're getting from each one, this thing definitely wins hands down, right? Because this is modern by every stretch of imagination, and that is outdated by every stretch of imagination. That's one thing, right? The kind of features you get, the engine performance and everything. One major problem with the Kawasaki is the servicing, right? They have only one service center in Bangalore, and the spares are exorbitantly expensive. The brakes are not so good, because that's one thing that this motorcycle definitely needs an upgrade with, right? The brakes are horrible. Right, and then it comes with MRF, this one coming with Metzeler tires, much more stickier. So, okay, honestly, tell me which one would you pick if you were looking, say you have a budget of 4.5 lakh rupees, you want a sports tourer, which one would be your pick?
I think I would go for Ninja, because I'm not the person who wants to be in rush always. I want to go, I want to enjoy the ride more than rushing to a destination. So I would say this.
My pick would be the RC, because it's overall very athletic, it's a nice committed riding posture, and then the value for money quotient for the RC 390, that is unbeatable. Yes, fine, the parts may not be having as good life as the Kawasaki is, but then you'll save a significant amount of money in the servicing, right, for this motorcycle. So that is my pick. It doesn't matter which one you pick, you can take either of these two. You can ride it in city without any problem, you can carry a passenger, you can go hit the track, which very few people actually do. You can take it on highways, they've got enough juice to be on the highways, they can keep up with bigger bikes as well, in case your friends have big bikes with higher capacities. So overall it's a personal preference. Yog says he wants to pick the Ninja, I would definitely pick the RC390. Overall, as a verdict, I would say value for money quotient. If you're looking for it, this is it. There's nothing beating it, unless Kawasaki literally revamps that thing into slightly modern with better packaging and all. They don't need to give the electronics, but yeah, the basic creature comfort like LED lighting, a better instrument console and things, that would be really good.
Yeah, there's more place to improve in terms of futures, but yes.
Alright guys, so that is it for this video. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks a lot, Yogs, and for joining in. And I'll see you guys again in the next one. Until then, stay safe, ride safe, and God bless you all.
Bye bye.